Hi guys, hope you all are doing fine. And I'm back with another lecture of macroeconomics. And just a brief introduction before we start. It's myself, Sandhya Rao, working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to cover the relative income theory in this lecture. We have already covered the absolute income theory, which was given by John Maynard Keynes. So here in this lecture, we'll stick to relative income theory. So first of all, you should be aware that this theory was given by S. Dusenberry, and these are the following assumptions of this theory. So here, what we are trying to say is that every individual's consumption is interdependent. See, first thing is that this theory completely refutes the Keynesian theory, okay, which states that every individual's consumption function is independent. It's not dependent upon other people, and this relative income theory states that all the consumers spend their money based on the consumption pattern of other people. Okay, so he's just trying to say that the consumption pattern or the consumption behavior is interdependent. Second thing this theory states is that consumption relations are irreversible, which means that once we have achieved a certain living standard, and once we have achieved a certain level of consumption, then it becomes very difficult for us to move back or move ahead very quickly. It takes time. So we can say that it's irreversible in the short run. Next thing he's trying to say is that consumers change their consumption pattern on the basis of the consumption pattern of their neighbors. We live in a society, we are human animals, and whenever there's a event happening in the society, or the way the society, the way the people in our society behave, we tend to behave in the same way. Okay, we try to imitate them because we want to adjust with them. So that is why our consumption pattern is also based on the consumption of our neighbors, and the difference in relative income determines the consumption. In absolute income theory, we were trying to say that the consumption depends upon the personal disposable income. Now here in this theory, we are trying to say that consumption depends upon the relative income theory. It depends upon the relative income. Okay, so whatever theories that we are going to cover, in all of them, they are trying to say that all right, consumption depends on income, we all know that, but the kind of income on which it exactly depends is different in all these given theories. So in this theory, consumption depends upon the relative income. So these are the key notes, or you can say the key observation of this theory, that if the income of the entire, okay, before this, let me give you an example. Let's say you have 100 rupees with you, okay, and the relative income, or let's say the entire, okay, and we all know that we are trying to imitate the consumption pattern of our neighbors. वो जैसे consumption करेंगे, we will try to imitate them. अगर वो अपना living standard increase करने हैं, तो we will also feel that we should also increase our living standard. So our consumption is based on their consumption pattern. Now the thing is कि अगर income सारी society की increase होती है, okay, my income is also increasing, and the income of all the people in my society is also increased. So in that case, the relative income will be same, okay, and there will be constant APC, because उस case में जितनी income मेरी बढ़ी है, उतनी ही income मेरे neighbors की भी बढ़ी है, ठीक है, and उसके comparison में जो मेरी कंजम्पशन है वो डेफिनेटली इंक्रीज तो होगी, बट उसमें कोई सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज जिस रेट से मेरे नेबर्स ने पहले कंजम्पशन करी थी, उसी रेट से मेरे नेबर्स ने अभी भी कंजम्पशन करी है, तो मेरी भी कंजम्पशन जो है वो उसी रेट से इंक्रीज होगी. सो दैट इज व्हाई द एपीसी इज गोइंग टू बी कांस्टेंट हियर, because the consumption will not rise in if the relative income is same. Also, we assume that savings are not increasing here, so we will move to a higher consumption in case the income is increasing. ठीक है, अगर हमारी income increase होती है तो we will shift upward, हम एक बड़े या एक higher consumption function पे पहुंच जाएंगे. The next thing is, as I've told you that there is a constant APC long run में, तो वो क्यों रहता है? Because there are two kinds of people in any society. There are rich people, there are poor people. Now, rich people generally have a lower APC, that is average propensity to consume, which means that they spend less portion of their income in the consumption. क्योंकि उनकी income ज़्यादा होती है तो उनके comparison में, उस high level of income के comparison में जो उनकी consumption होती है that is less. Also क्योंकि rich people जो होते हैं they feel that they should save, so that is why they have lower APC. Poor people, they already have less income and they have less money to save, so that is why their consumption is high, and that is why they have a high APC. Now in long run what happens is that both these things, this lower APC and higher APC gets offset, and there's a constant APC in long run. Although short run में अगर हम compare करें तो rich people will have a lower APC and poor people will have a higher APC. ठीक है, and this is nothing but the proportion of income that we are spending in consumption. So rich people usually spend less proportion of their income in consumption because they also save. But when we talk about poor people, they have less funds with themselves, so they cannot save more. Okay, they cannot save much, so they have to consume. ठीक है, उनका जो भी पैसा है वो कंजम्पशन में निकल जाता है, so that is why their consumption is high. Now there is one more thing that's known as RATCHET effect. Now this exactly explains the irreversible consumption. मैंने बोला था कि आपका जो behavior है, the consumption behavior is irreversible, which means अगर आपने एक बार एक consumption level achieve कर लिया, it becomes very difficult for you to move back or move ahead. Now why is this? So the thing is कि आपकी एक peak level of income होती है. आप अगर एक peak level of income पर आ जाते हो, when your income have increased and आपको उसके you get accustomed to it, आपको उसके रहन सहन की आदत हो जाती है, आपको वो living standard की आदत हो जाती है. ठीक है, let's say अगर हम if I take an example of Ambani, ठीक है, अगर वो we all know that they live a very lavish lifestyle. So now what happens is अगर वो एकदम से उनका कुछ setback लगता है उनके business को and वो काफी loss हो जाते हैं and their income have reduced significantly. Now do you think उनकी consumption जो है वो जो उनका living standard है उसमें कोई change आएगा? अगर मैं बोलूँ कि उनके living standard में within 2 days or 10 days or let's say even 1 month में कोई change आने वाला है? Definitely no. ठीक है, कोई change नहीं आएगा. Why? Because it becomes very difficult because you get accustomed. आप उस living standard को नहीं छोड़ सकते हो in a very short run. So you need time उसको adjust करने के लिए. ठीक है, आप क्या करोगे? अपनी past savings को utilize करने लग जाओगे ताकि आपका वो living standard जो है वो maintain रहे. ठीक है, आप कुछ भी कोशिश करोगे but you will try not to lose that living standard. So this is known as irreversible consumption behavior. So this is also known as RATCHET effect. So once people reach their peak level of income, they become accustomed to their consumption pattern and they are very less likely to change it in case there is a fall in the income. Okay. So if I try to explain this to you with the help of an example, then you can see here that our income have increased from Y1 to Y2. Okay, pehle our income was Y1, now our income is Y2. Now with this increase in income, we have shifted from even point to A. ठीक है, हमने अपनी consumption को even से A point पर ले आए हैं. ठीक है, now what happens is अगर यहाँ पर हम same consumption function पर रहते हैं, ठीक है, तो क्या होगा अगर मैं यहाँ पर अगर slope check करना चाहूँ अपना, the slope is falling, which means the MPC is falling here. ठीक है, also APC जो है वो भी fall करेगा. So now what I'm going to do is instead of remaining on the same consumption function, I will shift. क्योंकि मेरी income increase हुई है, तो I will shift to a new consumption function that is SRC2, which is short run consumption function 2, and this was short run consumption function 1. तो अब मैं अपनी consumption को E2 level पर ले आऊंगी. ठीक है, जैसे ही मेरी Y2 income हुई, I have shifted to a new consumption level that is E2 and which is on a new consumption function. ठीक है, एक new line है, this red line shows the new consumption function. अब इससे क्या होगा, लॉन्ग रन में मैंने सेम उस पे ग्राफ पर रही हूँ. इट मीन्स कि मेरी जो एमपीसी है दैट इज सेम. एमपीसी यहाँ पे मेरी सेम है. दिस इफ यू कुड सी दिस, द स्लोप विल बी सेम. ओके, सो दिस मीन्स कि यहाँ पर माय एमपीसी इज constant. ठीक है, सेम है मेरा एमपीसी. Also here you can see that your APC will also be equal to the MPC. यहाँ पर ये जो आपका APC है, if I show you, okay, 1 minute. If you could see that this is the new consumption, okay, and this is the new income. So if you could see, both these are equal, okay. Income here is equal to the consumption. Why? Because this LRC, which is the long run consumption function, has a slope of 45 degree, which means that consumption equals to income here. तो जिस रेट से जो भी मेरी कंजम्पशन जिस रेट से मेरी कंजम्पशन बढ़ेगी उसी रेट से मेरी कंजम्पशन भी इंक्रीज होगी, तो इट विल बी इक्वल टू 1. सो यहाँ पे एनपीसी विल बी इक्वल टू एपीसी. So this is how the relative income theory tries to state that, you know, in long run the APC is equal to MPC, and in short run जो होता है हमारा consumption function वो flat हो. ठीक है. Also, if I try to tell you that, you know, अगर income reduce हो जाती है तो क्या होगा? Let's say now अभी जो हमारी present income है that is Y2 present. अब हमारी income जो हो जाती है वो Y2 हो जाती है. ठीक है. तो initially हम पहले E2 पे ऑपरेट कर रहे थे, अब हमारी income जो है वो कम हो गई है. Now what will happen? अब हम अपनी कंजम्पशन को, क्योंकि हम अकस्टम्ड है हायर लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड के लिए, तो वी विल नॉट रिड्यूस अवर कंजम्पशन टू E1. बिल्कुल भी नहीं करेंगे हम ऐसा. जब हमारी इनकम रिड्यूस होती है तो वी ट्राई टू बी ऑन द सेम कंजम्पशन फंक्शन. लेकिन जब हमारी इनकम इंक्रीज होती है वी ऑलवेज टेंड टू मूव टू अ हायर कंजम्पशन फंक्शन. सो हियर वी विल बी ऑन द सेम कंजम्पशन फंक्शन. उसको थोड़ा सा हम कम कर देंगे क्योंकि डेफिनेटली कम थोड़ा बहुत तो होगा ही, एंड वी विल मूव टू लेवल बी. So we will move to level B of consumption now when there is a fall in income. So this is what relative income theory is. So if I move back, then you can see here, if the income of entire society rises, the relative income will be same. And there will be a constant APC, which means the consumption will not rise if the relative income is same. Savings do not increase. We move to a higher consumption in place of increased income. Also, rich people have a lower APC as they will need less proportion of their income to maintain their consumption, and poor people will have a higher APC as they need more proportion of their income to maintain their consumption. Now, once people reach their peak level of income, they become accustomed to the consumption pattern and they're very less likely to change it in case there's a fall in the income. So this is all about the relative income theory, which have two major important things that, you know, हमारी consumption जो है वो हमारे ऊपर नहीं depend करती है, depends upon the consumption pattern of our neighbors. We always try to imitate जो हमारे society के rich people होते हैं, we try to imitate them, and जिसकी वजह से उनका जो APC होता है that is relatively less, and the APC of relatively poor people is always higher. And whenever income increases, we always tend to shift to a हायर कंजम्पशन फंक्शन. जैसे ही इनकम बढ़ेगी हम अपना लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड इंक्रीज करेंगे, हम अपनी कंजम्पशन इंक्रीज करेंगे. लेकिन अगर इनकम कम होती है, अगर डिक्रीज हो जाती है, देन वी वोंट बी एबल टू डिक्रीज आवर कंजम्पशन significantly. Okay, we will try to be on the same consumption function. Is it clear now? Okay guys, so this is it. Thank you.